Welcome to The Explainer. So, mandatory climate reporting is on its way to Australia. And believe me, it's bringing a demand for a whole new set of skills. Today, we're going to break down the toolkit your business really needs to get ready.
Look, for large Australian corporates, this isn't some problem for the future. It's an immediate priority. Mandatory climate reporting kicks off its staged rollout on January 1, 2025. That means the clock is officially ticking, and the time to prepare is right now.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. The new standard, it's called AASB S2, from the Australian Accounting Standards Board, isn't just about crunching emissions data. Buried in there is a specific governance requirement that's going to force boards to ask some pretty tough new questions.
And that right there, that's not just a friendly suggestion. It's a direct quote from the standard, which makes it a mandatory disclosure. So what does that mean in plain English? It means your business has to have a clear, documented plan for developing climate-related skills, and you have to report on it. Simple as that. Which, of course, leads us to the million-dollar question, what in the world are these climate skills they're talking about? That is an excellent question. And based on these new requirements, we can pretty much boil it down to 5 core skills. Think of these as a fantastic starting point for any organization that's looking to build up its climate capability.
First up, and this one's a big one, carbon accounting. This is absolutely fundamental. The new regime expects you to be able to calculate and report your greenhouse gas emissions. And look, whether you do this in-house or you outsource it, you have to have people who can analyze and actually understand this information. It really is the bedrock of all your climate reporting. Next on the list, sharp analytical skills. You're going to need to get good at climate scenario analysis. What that means is looking at your business operations and modeling the potential impacts of climate change. We're talking both the physical risks, like floods or fires, and the risks of transitioning to a low-carbon economy. But this goes way beyond just spreadsheets. It really demands genuine, long-term thinking. You need leaders who can spot these huge, disruptive changes coming over the horizon and know exactly when it's time to pivot the business to make sure it thrives in the future. Now, this one's crucial. A huge chunk of your climate impact lies outside your direct control. It's actually in your supply chain. This makes your procurement strategy absolutely critical. Hitting those emission targets is going to depend on making really smart decisions about things like waste, your vehicle fleet, packaging, and especially your energy contracts. So, here's the point that ties it all together. Embedding climate into your business is at its heart about long-term risk management. This is not about creating some checklist and ticking boxes. No, it's about genuinely understanding how your entire operating environment could change and building resilience right into the DNA of how you do business.
All right, so you've identified the skills you need. That's the first step. The next logical question is, how do you actually get them into your organization? Well, there are 3 main pathways to think about. So, your 3 main options are you can outsource to consultants to get that expertise right away, you can recruit new talent to build up your own in-house capability, or you can educate your existing team. Honestly, the smartest strategy usually involves a blend of all 3, really tailored to your specific budget and what you can handle right now. Let's just quickly look at the trade-offs here. Recruiting new talent, that's a powerful long-term solution for sure, but it can be expensive, and you do create a key person risk if that knowledge is all tied up in one individual. On the flip side, outsourcing gives you instant expertise, but that comes at a premium, and suddenly you're managing complex third-party relationships. And that brings us to the third option, which, is often the most strategic place to start: education. Upskilling your current staff is hands down the most sustainable way to build a broad, foundational understanding of climate issues right across the entire business. It's absolutely critical for meeting both the new standards and, frankly, the market's growing expectations. Okay, so how do you put all this into practice? Getting started really doesn't have to be overwhelming. Here's a simple 4-step action plan you can use to get your business on the right track, starting today. First, educate. You need to build that foundational awareness of climate issues so everyone in the business is speaking the same language. Second, assess. Take a good look internally to see what skills and capabilities you already have. You might be surprised by what you find. Third, you plan. With that knowledge, you can develop a clear strategy to fill in the gaps, using that smart mix of outsourcing, recruiting, and more education. And finally, you deliver. You execute that plan, but you do it with a staged, cost-effective approach. Remember, the goal here isn't perfection on day one. It's all about making a constructive, meaningful start. So, as you and your business prepare for this completely new era of reporting, the question really isn't if you'll act, but how. Your climate skill strategy starts today. So what's your first step going to be?